Well, Robbie, they call it the people's race, and this guy has become the people's horse because he's just so consistent. He's just so generous in what he gives. Obviously, he's a horse that's not suited to gravel. We know that. You declared that beforehand, but Turffontein is deadly.
Yeah, he enjoys the track and the long run in, and he takes time to build up and gets very well ridden by Muzi, and we just leave him alone and let him turn it on when he wants to.
Obviously, the Charity Mile has always been a race that has been divided into two categories, those trying to win the Charity Mile and those prepping for the Sansui Summer Cup. Now, he just happens to have been good enough to win with top weight, prepping for the Summer Cup.
Yeah, he was first in a 1400 and he actually ran on very well that day, and I phoned Colin, he was overseas, and I said that was an excellent run. And the Charity Mile was a build-up for the Summer Cup. And we got away with winning that, you know. So he would have still ended up top weight in the Summer Cup. So he at least earned a big check and a lot of courage from himself. And, you know, now we go for the Summer Cup and see how we can do.
I know that golf is not your game, but sometimes when these putts go in from a long way out, people are saying that you're paying your taxes. But to be honest with you, this horse only won it on the line. He was behind one stride before the line and behind one stride after the line. That's the sign of true metal.
Yes, yeah, he's got a lot of courage in that, you know, and he owes us nothing now, you know what I mean. He's earned maybe 4.5 million rand in stakes from a horse that might have not carried on in his career early on from an injury, as we all know. But, you know, we're there for the race and we'll take our chances.
You sort of say in a casual way, we all know, but there are a lot of people that have got very short memories and they don't actually know the whole story. Sharon Patterson was telling us the other day from the Bayshore Barn how quirky he was to work with and all his idiosyncrasies, but he's a miracle horse. That's the bottom line.
No, it's just that he at least recovered from an injury that might have stopped his career, but we just left him alone. We didn't do any screws or anything like that into the knee. We just left him alone, and it healed up in time. Time is the best healer of everything, I suppose. And, you know, and we carried on from there, and he's just gone from strength to strength.
No names, no petrol. What did the vets actually say at the time?
No, well, Terry was a bit concerned and we weren't too sure. Colin sort of said, well, you know, should we get rid of him in racing? And there was just something that said to myself, you know, just let's keep him. Let's just take our chances. And it worked out. You know, it's one of those little fairy tale stories that come together.
Muzi's become very famous for his dabbing. And this horse, when he won the 4 million rand race, I think he just blew everybody away. But he's going to have to do exactly what Elevation did, what Louis the King did, what quite a few other really top horses have done with top weight.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for him, and probably is not in the class of Louis the King and Elevation. I mean, those were real. But, you know, as I said, we're there with top weight. Last year he couldn't get in the July because they said he wasn't like good enough, and from being like nearly a bottom weight there to now the top weight, yeah, in the Summer Cup. Yeah, he's done everything, so.
It's now the middle of summer. He's standing here, he looks $1 million. But in winter, this guy just refuses point blank to have a blanket. He doesn't want his window closed. I mean, that's quite unusual.
Yeah, well, as we say, he's a bit quirky, and we let him do what he feels like he wants to do.
And finally, Robbie, you know, he's standing here, he's just minding his own business. He's got no inclination whatsoever to come and interfere with us, which you thought he might do. But, I mean, from a point of view of doing, does he eat well all the time? Does he relish his work?
Yeah, no, he's really a good doer, and he's basically quite easy. You know, I've always said it's fairly easy to train a very good horse. It's hard to get the best out of the bad ones. But he enjoyed his stay on the farm for 2 months. He went off for a bit of a break, and that came back, and his first run was only 5 weeks back after he'd been off for quite a while. And then to win the Charity Mile, so he's just put it all together.
You've got the pair in the GBet Summer Cup. The filly, I don't for 1 second believe we've seen the best of her. She's clearly way, way, way above average, and we know that Deo JUVENTE on his day is more than capable of running a winning type of race.
Yeah, well, you know, obviously Deo's been his last start was very disappointing in the Victory Moon, but he came out of there a little bit shaken up, so, you know, there was work to do, and he had a little bit of a cough afterwards, so you've got to put a line through that. And I've heard all around Reinke's, I've heard of horses from all different strings coughing after work because they walk past us when they come back. So we've dealt with that, and I would like to think that he's going to put in a much better effort, and at least he goes in there off now a paperweight, which for him he'll think is loose. Not a great draw, but he's a bit tardy away, so he'll be running at them from the back of the field. The filly, she's just, amazed even me, because I've always been a true believer in her. And I think I told you when she won a maiden win, I thought this would be an Oaks filly, and that's what she did. I think she's improved quite a lot, since she's turned 4. I expected a forward run last time, but I honestly didn't expect her to be able to beat Cascapedia over a mile. And, if Cascapedia is right up there in the betting, then so should she be, but I see she's not. Well drawn this time. I think a better, much more suitable trip for her. I like her. I think she's going to go well.
Yeah, look, I mean, when you look at her win in the Oaks, clearly taking the pieces franked the form. She maybe didn't get a mile and a half. She stayed the same distance behind Secret Potion that she did at the 200-meter mark. But whether it's 2,000 or a mile and a half, I think it's right up Secret Potion's alley.
Yeah, I think so too. I think, I actually think probably 2,000 is a better trip for her, because she's got an amazing turn of foot. So she can easily match it with them. I think everybody wrote her off because of the July, but, a pathetically slowly run race once again. I mean, it's just such a disaster now these days. From a bad draw far back, well, you're not going to feature, unless they go a true, honest gallop in a race like that, nothing's going to come from off the pace.
Same as Coral Fever.
Exactly, and, they're much better than that form, and that's what, really infuriates me with... these slow run races, the feature races, is a flagship race of the country, and has turned into a debacle at the moment.